Hey everyone, my name is Riley, and in this video, I will be breaking down the best states to form an LLC. When starting a business, one of the first decisions that you will need to make is where to register your LLC. While you can form an LLC in any state, some states offer better tax advantages, lower fees, and business-friendly regulations. In this video, I will cover how to choose the best state for your LLC, some of the top states for forming LLCs and why, the best options for non-residents, and common mistakes to avoid when selecting a state. I will also introduce you to my recommended LLC formation service that makes sure you are compliant and offers guidance if you ever need help with legal or tax questions later down the road. As always, if you do decide to use my recommended service, I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. I have thoroughly researched my options and I trust this service to provide top-notch support. So, starting off with how to choose the best state for your LLC. With this, there are a few key factors to consider. The first being where you live and operate. So if you are running a local business, it is usually best to form your LLC in your home state. The reason for this is because otherwise you may have to register as a foreign LLC and pay extra fees. The second thing to consider is state filing and annual fees, because some states have low startup costs and maintenance fees, whilst others can be pretty expensive. Tax benefits are also going to play a part when deciding where to form your LLC, because a few states have no state income tax, which of course can save you a lot of money in the long run. Another thing you might want to consider is privacy protections, because some states offer anonymous LLCs, which means your name won't be publicly linked to your business. And finally, another very important thing to consider when you are choosing where to form your LLC is the regulatory environment. Some states are going to have more business-friendly laws that make it easier to manage and scale your LLC, and others have a lot more regulations, which makes things a little bit trickier. Now that you know what to look for, let's go over the best states to form an LLC based on these factors. The first is going to be Wyoming, and this is the best state for low fees and privacy. Some of the main benefits for forming your LLC in Wyoming is no state income tax, so of course you keep more of your profits. They also have low annual fees, and it is just $60 per year to maintain your LLC. Wyoming also has strong privacy protections because they allow anonymous LLCs. So this means that your personal details don't appear in public records. And finally, Wyoming is great for asset protection because they have strong legal protections for business owners. The second state on this list is Delaware, and this is the best state for large businesses and investors. Some of the main benefits of forming your LLC in Delaware is the business-friendly laws. So Delaware has a separate court of chancery which specializes in business cases. It also has no state corporate income tax, so if your LLC doesn't do business in Delaware, you don't pay corporate income tax. Also, many venture capital firms prefer Delaware LLCs or corporations for the reasons mentioned above. The third state to make the list is going to be Nevada, and this is the best for no state taxes. So with Nevada, there is no state income tax, there is no franchise tax or capital gains tax. They also have strong privacy protections because Nevada is going to allow anonymous LLCs. They also have business-friendly regulations because no operating agreement is required, and the reporting requirements in Nevada are minimal. And the fourth and final entry on this list is of course going to be your home state. So this is the best for local and small businesses. With your home state, there are no foreign LLC fees, because if you register in another state, but you do business where you live, you will have to register as a foreign LLC and pay extra fees. Staying compliant with state laws and taxes is also simpler in your home state, and you also get access to faster banking and licensing, because setting up a business bank account and getting necessary permits is going to be easier locally. Another thing that I want to touch on is the best states for non-residents. So if you don't live in the US, but you want to start an LLC, the best states for this are Wyoming, Delaware, and Nevada, the states that we mentioned earlier, because they are going to offer easier online filing with no residency requirement to form an LLC. There are also no state income taxes in both Wyoming and Nevada. With Wyoming and Nevada, they of course also offer the anonymous LLCs, and all of these states have strong asset protection laws. I will also add a little tip here. So if you're a non-resident, I would highly recommend using a registered agent service in these states to handle the legal documents for you. Now, some common mistakes to avoid when choosing a state. First of all, and this is a huge one, this is going to be choosing a different state just to save on taxes. The reason for this is because if you operate your business in a different state, you may need to register as a foreign LLC and pay double fees. The second thing is not considering the annual maintenance costs when you are looking around for where to form your LLC. The reason for this is that some states have low filing fees but high annual fees, so just make sure to keep an eye on those because they can catch you out. And then another big mistake is going to be ignoring compliance requirements because some states have stricter reporting and business regulations than others. Now, if you are ready to form your LLC, I highly recommend using bizee. This is my recommended LLC formation agent because they do most of the work for you. They streamline the entire process by handling all the paperwork, filing your documents, and even offering a free registered agent service for the first year. So if you want to follow along and form your LLC with bizee, let's jump into my screen and I will show you exactly how to do this. To get started with bizee, click on the top link down in the description and it's going to take you over to this page. So all we have to do is click right here on Start My Business, and then it's going to take us to this area where we can choose the entity type and the state that we would like to form our LLC in. So for the entity type, we are of course going to select the LLC, and then for the state, we can go down here and choose the state that we have picked that we want to form our LLC in. So in this example, I'm going to choose Wyoming right here, and we can see that these are the bizee packages. So the bizee packages are going to remain the same no matter which state you go for, but the state fee underneath is going to change depending on the fee that the state charges. So if I just flick this back to Wyoming right here, from these bizee plans, the one that I would recommend is this standard plan right here. And the reason for this is we get everything that we need from bizee. So they are going to prepare and file the articles of organization. This is the main document that is going to legally form the LLC. They also provide a free year of a registered agent service. So a registered agent is a person or company that is designated to handle the legal documents for your company. Going down, bizee will also sort our EIN business tax number. This is essentially the social security number for our business, and this is required to open business bank accounts, file taxes, and also hire employees. So very important that we get this sorted. They will also create our operating agreement for us. We get lifetime compliant alerts and also unlimited phone and email support. So if you have any questions about your business, about the legalities, you can give them a call. And in here, we can now fill out the steps and form our LLC. So with these, depending on the state that you chose, you might see a different layout and it might ask different questions. But what I'm going to do is we can just first of all name the LLC, and we can see that this company name is available because we have this check mark. So we are not registering anything in a foreign language. We can click on next. And in here, we can now choose if we want to pay an extra $50 to get the expedited filing time. So this really just depends how quickly do you need your LLC setting up. So if we want to go for this, we can select and click on next. In here, we can then go through and enter in our contact details as the person forming this LLC. On this next screen, bizee is then going to ask if we would like to use our own address or whether we would like to pay for bizee's professional business address. Essentially, the difference between these is if you go for your own address, any residential address provided to the state will be listed publicly. So if you want your address to remain private and not to be able to show up on public records, then we can use the professional business address. Once we have selected if we would like to use this, we can then go down and enter in our contact address. And on this screen, we can now provide the members' information for all of the members that are going to be a part of this LLC. So we can drop this down and choose up to 6 members, but because this is my company, I'm just going to select one, and then we can go down and we can enter in all of the members' information. From here, bizee will then ask if we want to use their free registered agent service for the first year, so we definitely want to take advantage of this. On this next page, we can now set up our EIN, the employer identification number, and as I say, this is required to set up business bank accounts, file taxes, and hire employees. So in here, we can just autofill this information. And then for the identification number, which needs to be used to obtain the EIN, we have 2 different options. With the ITIN, this is going to take up to 12 weeks to obtain, so that's a little bit lengthy. You do need to wait longer for this. So the best option is to go with a social security number. So we enter that in, and then we can go down and fill our physical address and click on next. bizee will then ask if we would like to use their partners for our business banking. It's up to you if you want to use these, but I'm just going to say ask me later. We also get offered a free consultation and tax strategy call. So with this, there are no strings attached. We are definitely going to want to take this. And on this next page, we can now see our order summary. So just go down and make sure all of this is entered correctly and accurately, so we can scroll down and just check all of this out. And the final step is just to enter in the card details that we would like to use to pay for bizee and form this LLC. So we enter the card details in right here, click on agree and complete and pay. And that is how you can use bizee to form your LLC.